Our next guest is trying to fill a ship full of Cougar fans for the first voyage cruising with the Cougs. It's our pleasure to welcome Troy Dunn to the Wise Guys, and Miranda's going to hit that magic button, and just like that,
Troy,
there you are.
Here
welcome. What do you think of our lair here?
I got to be honest with you. 28 years in television, I've been in a lot of studios, and when you watch you on YouTube, you just think it's a couple of cool guys hanging out in a room, and then you get here and go, holy cow, this is Broadway production. I mean, what people can't see is, this is a legit professional, amazing. You got a whole staff of producer people back here.
That's how we do it.
And we wanted to do it in a place that was more relaxed. And so our executive producer and our partner, Jack Hadley's like, let's put this studio together and let's make it retro, and let's get the league up here and let's do this right. And he had a vision that he talked to Dave and I about, and Dave and I were like, yeah, we like this vision, let's do this. And we love the format where we can bring people in and it's casual and we can talk like Andy Reid. We were just talking about Andy. He was on for 45 minutes with us, just talking about life, and it's a different format than our normal TV format that Dave and I have been involved in for 30 plus years each, where we get little 4 and 5 and 6 minute sound bites with people. Yeah. We can get into stories. It's great. We love it. It's so fun for us to do. And we hope the people that are out there that download it every week and listen to it every week and come on the live stream with us, we hope they like this.
It's a heck of a gift to Cougar fans. And I'll say that because I'm always been a Cougar fan, but I've only lived in Utah a few years.
Right.
And so having spent 28 years on the East Coast, when the only taste of BYU football we get is television, and then every couple of years maybe a tailgate party somewhere in Florida.
Yeah.
That's it. So when you're sitting here naming off how the entire world is tuned into your live stream, it does not even slightly surprise me.
Yeah.
Because
so fun.
We're so hungry out there as BYU fans for some content. And this, you're feeding like rich content, and you're not, what would I say? I don't get myself in trouble. You play it really down the middle, like very legit, right? You're not just.
We're not selling something.
No.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I love to hear your enthusiasm, your subtle disappointment from time to time. Like,
sure.
This is what we want.
Well, we're loving it. And I don't know what we're tracking this month, but when we look at total impressions across all of our platforms, we're in that 1.8 million a month.
Does not surprise me a bit.
Which is really fun. And we're so glad that people are embracing it. We really are.
Yeah.
So you're watching this game Saturday night. Take us through your emotions. You were there.
I was
Where
there.
were you sitting?
Wow. In the only section safe, which is the BYU section.
So you're in the corner?
I'm in the corner. I'm right above the cheerleaders.
Okay.
And I want to be really transparent and honest because I'm as big a Cougar fan as it gets.
Yeah.
I said to my wife, if he doesn't get out of the end zone on this one and get a first down, let's go.
Okay. That's fair.
Because there's a couple of minutes left.
Thousands of others were thinking that too.
I wasn't trying to send a message. I just wanted to beat the traffic. That was it.
Yeah. And it was a record crowd. So you got the masses
crowd,
up there.
And to be real honest, because we were on the left end of that section, so we're really just across the aisle from a lot of red shirts. And they were really getting aggressive as it became evident to most, so it looks like Utah's going to win. They were getting loud.
Sure.
I just didn't want my wife and I to be stuck in the middle of that. So we were booking down the steps as soon as he got sacked in the end zone. I'm like, we'll listen to the rest of it on the radio. And then they said, wait, there's a flag.
Hold on, everybody.
And we hit the brakes at the second to last row, pulled back into the bleachers, sat back down. And for the next, 60 seconds, I screamed like a little girl continuously. And it was really amazing to watch and to experience. And I get a little philosophical with people, and so I think sometimes I sound like some sort of a weird like BYU hippie, and I don't mean to be that. But here's my take on what happened.
Okay.
So football, I'm a third generation football player. We were born and bred for this sport. I was recruited to play BYU in 1984. I was on a high school team in Oklahoma that won the state championship. I took my trips to OU, OSU, TCU, and BYU. Those were my visits. Got to sit across the desk from Lavelle Edwards, and
awesome.
That is my greatest BYU experience. Was that?
Oh, all right.
That 15 minutes. But one thing that everybody has when they walk on a football field is an offense, a defense, and a kicking team, right? A special teams.
Yeah.
There's a fourth pillar that not everybody has, and BYU has it. And it's that one that everybody kind of plays it down, but I think that the world's having to start accepting, which is the fourth pillar is culture. And what happened at the BYU Utah game was a clash of cultures. And the offenses and the defense and the special teams battled back and forth, and we all saw the game. We know how that was going down, and nobody could tell for sure from minute to minute what was going to work and what wasn't.
Yeah.
But when the last second ticked off, culture won. Mm-hmm. And part of that evidence is unfortunately what happened after the fact, right? Because culture is always built from the top down. There's no such thing as culture that flows up. It doesn't exist.
And culture is not religion.
Not even a little bit.
This isn't a religion. They call it a holy war and all that stuff. We don't call it that. But it's not. You're not talking about religion of God shining down on one side or the other. Culture is different.
It is different. And it is a feel, and it's an energy, and it's why we're yanking big fish out of the portal, even though we're not throwing the biggest checks at people.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, there is a certain amount of money that's enough for some. And they're like, okay, now I also have to make sure I enjoy myself. And when these kids are making these visits, they're seeing the same thing you see everywhere. AstroTurf field, big stadium, lots of cool stuff. And then they spend enough time to feel the culture. And that's why we win great athletes. That's what happened Saturday. And that's what broke down for Utah. And as we saw, and I don't want to point fingers and be mean because enough has probably been said about it in the world, but from the top down, from the comments that were made by the AD to the comments that were made by the head coach, to the bottle that flew out of that crowd, knocked out our cheerleading coach, to the things that were being shouted at us in the BYU section from the red side of the field, culture fell apart while ours held together. And there's little pieces of that culture that I don't even think people know about, right? Like little tiny, like, so.
That's great.
I'm a big fan of Will Ferrin. He's my son's best friend. Yeah. We know him like one of our sons. We love him to death.
We don't call him Will anymore. We call him Big Game Bill.
I know, you call him Big Game Bill. And that's awesome.
Big Game Bill.
I don't know, who was it? Was it
Retzlaff called him Big Game Bill. He goes, oh, you're talking about Big Game Bill? And we're like, is that his new nickname? And Jake goes, yeah. We go, then that's what we'll call him now,
well,
Big Game Bill.
I think that's shorter than where there's a will, there's a way, but I also love that.
Yeah, it's fun.
But when people are watching on TV, as soon as you make a field goal, they go to commercial. And what people don't see is Will Ferrin, who's the kicker, who now has to get his butt out to the middle of the field for kickoff, right? He goes from mindset of make this field goal to mindset, I got to bury that thing in the end zone now. But instead, he runs to the sideline and he stands there. If you're at a game, you'll see this every single time. And he greets every single member of the kicking team who's coming off and expresses his gratitude to every one of them. Now, I've been to a lot of games. That's not what kickers do. Kickers run off and they swap tee. They grab the tee and they run to the middle and they get ready to kick off. But that's not because Will's just amazing. That's the culture.
Yeah.
That's hard to beat. You cannot scout culture.
And you know what? The culture of this team now is they believe in each other. When the offense was struggling at the beginning of the year, the defense was carrying them, but nobody on the defense got on the offense. Yeah. They said, it's okay, they'll come along. They're going to win some games for us. Right. When the offense had a lights-out game and the defense struggled, the offense didn't get on the defense. They said, that's okay, defense, you had us early, we got you now.
Yeah.
And when the special teams needed to win games, they've won games. There's not been any of this. And you know what happens? In a game that's a struggle, this team now believes that no matter what happens, if they're in it at the end, they're going to win. Mm-hmm. That's what they believe.
Because it happens here. We all know that. Everything's won here first. And I don't think what people realize, and Kansas should know this before they get here, that game has already been won, right? BYU's already beaten Kansas because they've already played the game here, and that's our culture. Mm-hmm. And so those kids walk on the field, and all they're doing now is executing what's already happened for them. Whereas I think other teams are showing up and going, I hope we can win this. I hope we don't lose another one. Utah's like, this is all we got. Like they came in with this almost desperate energy.
Yeah.
And you lose. Culture wins.
So your son's best friend trots out on the field. The clock's counting down.
I love Will, by the way. And our kids all went to Davis High.
He's going to attempt a 44-yard field goal to win the game.
Yeah.
Now, and you know that he's good enough to make that kick. You also know that if he misses that kick, this play is going to live in infamy one way or the other way. And if he misses, the place is going bananas, and you don't wish that on any kid. And if he makes it, he's a hero. So before that snap, what are you thinking?
So just before it snapped, I was looking over my right shoulder because his mom and dad were just sitting just a section over. But honestly, I was calm. And I was calm because I have such confidence in him. And I think we, as the fans, have become part of this culture.
Yeah, you just believe.
We're starting to just feel it as if we were in the locker room stretching out and warming up. And, keep in mind the average college field goal is 36 yards and the average NFL field goal is 40. Mm-hmm. That was 44 yards. It's not an automatic gimmick. No. It's not the little one. That's a big kick.
And then throw some pressure in.
There can't be more pressure. The entire game, right, in the greatest game of the year and one of the largest rivals in the United States of America has come down to this kid and his foot.
Yeah.
And no time left on the clock for a redo. This is it.
It's totally nuts.
That's it. But that's the culture that he's thriving in because it's such a safe.
So it sails through the uprights.
Yeah.
Then what do you feel?
Mostly just the sound of my own ears ringing. I was screaming. I'm not exaggerating. I was screaming and jumping up and down like I myself had kicked the ball. It was unbelievable. And I just feel like the script keeps, every time we turn the page, something you would never write on a script because it wouldn't be realistic keeps happening. That's the year we're having. We're having the year that could not happen. It is fiction come to life.
It's, you know what? It's out of the blue.
It's out of the blue.
I love that.
Yeah, I like that. I was going to ask you if you saw Will's interviews after the game, because he came on the show with us, on the post-game show with us, and I just marveled at his presence, his calmness, the way he approaches the game. Kelly Papinga was quoted as saying he went over to Will as they were on that last drive and said, what hash do you want it on? Mm-hmm. And Will said to Kelly Papinga, doesn't really matter. Mm-hmm. I don't care. It's good because I'll make it. Mm-hmm. He just told Kelly, I'll make it. Whatever hash it is, I'll make it.
Right.
And Kelly's like, okay, we won't worry about that then. If he's not worried about it, I'm not even going to worry about it. And then he told us at the post game, it doesn't really matter where it is because I do my steps. Once I do my steps, they all go straight. So I just do my steps and it's just going to go straight and it's going to go in.
Yeah.
That's how he approaches it. Self-fulfilling prophecy. I'll do my steps. I'll get them right. The ball will go straight. It will always go through. And he approaches the misses. I know he does this because he's only had 2 the whole year. What is he, 17 of 19 now?
Something like that.
I think it's like crazy number.
Yeah.
And when he misses, he just goes, oh, that's an aberration. That will never happen again. I must have got my steps wrong.
Yeah.
And so he also knows how to deal with when he's missed.
He's managing his own mental health about the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
His mental health for a kicker is, and I've been around a bunch of them, the best I have ever seen.
Yeah.
His mental approach to the game is the best I have ever seen.
Well, you think about his moment, like if you could just put yourself in his place, standing down there on that field, right? Not at BYU, not where you have 66,000 people who love you and are literally praying for you in that moment. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But 56,000 people who are literally praying that you miss it, that you choke. They're trying everything they can. They're screaming obscenities at you. And there's 11 of them on the other side of the field who are just hoping they can come in and cause you some form of harm.
Yeah.
And he just stays in that place. I almost feel like if we could get inside Will's mind, there is nobody in the stadium. He's just standing on a field by himself like he's done 10,000 times, and he's just kicking.
He's got his steps right, and he knows it's going to go straight.
Yeah.
Well, it went straight
and you know what?
Won the game. It's
like
awesome.
I asked Gavin, my son's the defensive back, coach the safeties, and I said, hey, when Will was going out there, Gavin was like, oh, not one of us down there on the field and staff had any doubt that if we could get the ball to the 35-yard line, that it would be 100% he would make that.
I'm telling you, that ball could be sitting on the 45.
Yeah. And they have confidence that too. But Gavin's like, we knew, like from where he was kicking at 44 yards.
I was glad he was closer.
He said every one of the coaching staff was like, we just won this game because we just put Will under 50 yards. Like he will never miss from under 50 yards. That was the mentality.
Great stuff.
I would. Sorry, I just have to throw one more piece of love out real quick, and that is that as excited as I am that Will's getting all that attention, he got down to that place because a lot of unsung heroes on that offensive line fought like their lives depended on it after having had a really hard game and a lot of battles. Yeah. And there was a lot of pressure.
And 2 starters missing, which nobody's talked about.
Yeah, and they just
you had Braden Keim, who's manned that right tackle the whole year out. And you have Connor Pay, who's coming back for this next game, out, and Bruce Mitchell in there. You had two guys that started the season as backups on that offensive line in the 2-minute drill at the end of the game, protecting the quarterback and letting him move their way down the field and get there.
That's the culture. They know where they have to get Will to, and they're like, we'll do it. We'll get it done.
Troy Dunn with Cruisin with the Cougs on the Wise Guys tonight, presented by Brady Plus and distributed by the Deseret News. All right, it's chilly outside, so let's talk about something nice, fun, and warm.
Give us the details.
Cruisin with the Cougs concept. Where did this come up? It's never happened before, so where did you get it?
So I thought I invented it, but I would learn later that the Ohio State Buckeyes have done it 14 years in a row.
Okay.
Oh, man.
And I say I've got a business partner named Jason Burgess, and both of us are diehard BYU fans. Jason's had the blessing of living in Utah his life and being up close and personal. I've always had to live out on the East Coast. So it's just kind of back to that selfish desire to get closer and be more involved. And even if you live here, your access is limited, right? I mean, you can go line up in Cougar Canyon before the game and watch the team run by and get a high five. That's it. Unless you're a big, sponsored donor, you can go to some special private dinners and things. Outside of that, that's it. And so we thought, what could we do that would create the absolute highest level of fan integration that they've never experienced? And again, for me, how could I play pickleball with Kalani Sitake? So we created the cruise idea. It was about as unrealistic as imagining BYU would be 9-0.
Okay.
It was that over the top idea. Tom Homo, bless his heart, a man of great vision. Chad Lewis, like just their entire, talk about culture. They were like, well, what's it going to take? I'm like, well, a lot of money, a whole cruise ship, and fans who want to hang out.
Yeah.
He said, well, that last one's easy. They always want to hang out.
A ship, now you got to get a ship.
Yeah, and so not to sound commercially, but honestly, our dear friend, the CEO of Mountain America, wrote a ridiculous check, who loves the Cougars dearly, made the impossible possible, called Royal Caribbean and said, we want to bring a group. And they're like, how big? I'm like, I want the whole ship.
Wow.
The whole ship.
Like, and this is not one of their little ships.
No. This is a 4,000 passenger, massive ship. It's, just to be clear, it's 75, it's 3/4 full.
Wow, we were going to ask about the response.
It's almost gone. So, like, if people are just now hearing it for the first time, the shot at getting on is really small.
So you got to do it now.
You really, I know it sounds very salesy, but I'm just being honest. If you're my best, I have friends calling me here like, dude, how do I get a suite? I'm like, suites are gone. Yeah. Okay, how can I get one of those interiors are gone? 8 cabin categories are sold out.
Wow.
Nice.
Then as if, we were excited when Kalani, announced that he would come on and bring his family. And then it was one star after another after another. I mean, if you name the 10 legends of BYU football,
they're all on the ship.
They're all coming. I have a couple on my wish list. One of them has to go ahead and stay undefeated as the head coach of the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And then
we're friends with Andy. We can have a little.
Make sure that's not the NFL draft week, and you might have a shot.
I'll have Brenda call Tammy and see what she.
So it is the NFL draft week.
Oh, it is.
However, a little tiny bird tells me,
if you like what you're watching, you can help us out by subscribing and hitting that notification button.
If they make it to the big game again, there is a possibility. You can ask him yourself.
He might have some free time.
There might be a retirement in place.
Okay.
Wow, so that'd be great. But who else do you need? We can help.
No, we've almost got everything.
Okay.
We have now people, and this is not football now, right? It's, Jimmer's going to be there. Basketball. You talked about Jennifer Rockwood. Like every sport's represented on this thing. So if you're a Cougar fan, but more of a basketball, more of a volleyball.
There's a little of everything.
Yeah, the Cougarettes are coming, Cosmo's coming.
Somebody asked me the other day, is it a fundraiser for the athletic department or is it a vacation?
Oh,
what is it?
It's a fundraising vacation.
Fundraising vacation.
Yeah.
So how does that work?
So a portion of the funds that we don't have to give to Royal Caribbean will go directly to BYU Athletics.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
And of course, there'll be merch. We're having an entire line of limited edition merch made just for the cruise.
Will there be Cougar tails on the ship?
I wish I could answer that. Don't ruin all the surprises.
What kinds of activities will they be involved in on the ship?
So we've replaced 100% of the entertainment. Now, when you charter a cruise ship, you get a package deal. Like you just get that magician, that comedian, and those dancers and singers. We said, well, fine, but we don't want them on the stages. So they all get the week off. They'll be on the ship floating and probably helping us out with things.
Wow.
We are bringing in all either LDS or BYU celebrities to do all the shows, the comedian,
nice.
David Osmond and Savannah Stevenson from Broadway, from Wicked. We're bringing all the wins. And of course, the BYU athletes themselves will be doing some panel discussions, and we're going to, I feel like I'm getting in trouble for giving away surprises. There's going to be some big game shows and big prizes, and you're going to be able to compete against the athletes. There's a lot of meet and greets.
So you're just on the ship, and then here comes Ty Detmer, and then here's Jim McMahon, or here's Steve Young, or here's just a who's who.
It's a who's who, and there are some who's that we haven't announced yet because they've asked us not to.
Right.
So, but when you get on the website at BYUcruise.com, you'll see every person that we are permission to say. It is an 8-day tailgate party.
An 8-day tailgate
Yeah, this isn't
party.
a 3-day, like one of those little booze cruises. And, people will say to me, where's it going? I say, who cares? I mean, I'll tell you where it's going. It's going down the Mexican Riviera.
Right.
But you won't want to get off the ship. We have programming, BYU Cougar programming, 24 hours a day the entire time. We probably will do future BYU cruises just because it's sold so fast.
Yeah.
But my honest, humble, off-the-record opinion, I guess we can't be off the record, but
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll ever get this group of people together again. Like,
Right.
it has been mind-blowing. And some of them are just reaching out to us, like, oh, how come I'm not coming? I'm like, you are. Come on.
Come on.
So, yeah, it is. If you're a true blue Cougar fan, especially these people on your live feed that are not living here locally and have never, you got to be here. And if you're somebody who says, my family's owned season tickets since the 60s, this is your event.
So we've got the link to your site
Yeah.
where folks can go get more information. But
Lynn's asking, is Ty going to join the cruise? Detmer?
Can't say.
Can't say.
can't say. We'll get back to you on that one. In fact, next time Ty's on the show, he was just on a couple weeks ago. We'll ask him.
Get him on there now. Let's talk.
If he's going to do that.
Linda, we haven't announced it yet, but I'm going to be there doing some stuff. So
It'll be interesting.
You guys will be doing the show out there, aren't you?
I think Sports Nation guys are going to do that.
Yeah.
Jerem and Spencer.
Jerem and Spencer are doing a show on there. I'm going to help host a bunch of stuff there.
All right.
So.
Awesome.
So when are the dates?
April 11th. So the dates were selected so that they come in after the Final Four and General Conference and before graduation and Easter. So that's
good
the
timing.
date. Yeah.
So
And a great time to be down where it's
Selected
warm.
by Kalani himself.
There you go.
And for folks to sign up, they go to the website. Is that the best way?
BYUcruise.com, and there's a way you can call in and do it. You can look there and see what's left that's available for
Yeah,
cabins.
Conrad Monson saying, is this the only year this is going to be, or is this going to be a consistent thing?
This is the only one we're committing to tonight.
Okay.
Oh, we added sports camps. As if we already had enough on. So now the coaches and players who are on board will be the ones actually teaching sports
Some
camps.
of the sports stuff there.
For the football, for basketball, Jimmer's doing the 3-point class. Like,
Nice.
Yeah, they're all, and those are, I think.
You got to shoot in the ocean breeze, the 3-point class.
We have access to the whole ship, so we've got a basketball court and open
Hey,
space.
this ship has water slides and courts and all kinds of stuff.
Oh,
on it. Yeah,
everything. We've really got
this is a
basically,
crazy
it's
ship.
a city. We've rented an entire city. We're going to take it out to sea.
So Linda Murray says, we're going. So there you go.
So-
Excited to meet some of the athletes. And I'll be glad to see you there, Linda.
So the ship is 3/4 sold.
Yes.
What do you have to top it off to make this a successful venture for everybody involved, or are you now in the where everything else beyond here is a bonus and money for the?
I mean, I don't know where the break-even line is, but
Yeah.
we've never really thought about it because we are at the rate we're going, we'll have a waiting list.
Yeah.
So I mean, we already have a waiting list on several things, right? There was a VIP package; those have been gone for 5 months.
Nice.
Most of the kids' sports camps are sold out, but there's a few spots left.
Might just take a blizzard to
So-
top off that ship.
Yeah, I
You
don't
As
know.
soon as we get some snow around here.
Every time we have
Yeah.
another win, the phones light up on Monday
Well,
morning.
it's supposed to get really cold and snowy tomorrow, so all of Utah may decide they want to
So
go
they
on a
say,
cruise
"Get me
by
on that
tomorrow."
ship."
Yeah, to
Come
listen to the show.
spend
Like, you know
April.
what? Let's go to the Mexican Riviera for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. With all of BYU Nation.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You ready for 5 questions?
Oh, I get to do
Oh,
five.
Yeah,
yeah.
you can do 5 questions.
This,
5
can I say,
questions
This
is-
is an
And
honor.
it's not exactly the same, but it's pretty much the same. So
All right.
we're
5
gonna
questions presented by Strategy Square, delivering connection, clarity, and confidence in business and marketing strategies. So everyone that's been on this show, whether it's Steve Young down to Tide or Marie
Amy,
Osmond,
Marie,
they've done 5
They
questions.
all do this.
So it's different 5 questions?
No,
Okay.
they're the standards, but sometimes we replace the 5th one with one that's specific to you. So our 5th
right.
one's specific to you. So,
Oh, man, that makes me nervous.
so
By the way, Greg wants to know, so where's the cruise headed? It's headed to Mexico, right?
Yeah.
Into Mexico, so we're going to go to Ensenada only because the factory that makes all the LDS temple glasses there, so we've been given private access to go in there.
very cool.
I want to emphasize, not that it matters, it's not a religious cruise, it's a sports cruise.
Right.
So
Right. Big
you don't
difference.
have to be, you absolutely can come and be yourself and enjoy yourself. The only real rule is you cannot wear anything red.
That's a
Yeah,
good
do you
rule
know?
to have.
So I
Excellent
have
rule
to
to
tell
have.
you, last week I did the college football playoff reveal show at BYU TV, and then Dave and I called the game. It was election day, so I wore a red, white, and blue tie for election day. America, people.
Yeah.
I took so much flack from fans that I had red in my tie.
If Blaine shows up in a red Bermuda shorts, just throw him off the ship.
I would never do that, but don't you think it was okay for me to wear a red, white, and blue tie on election day?
No, not on Utah week.
Okay, well then
he gave me no support on this deal. Fans were killing
come on,
me.
You know better than that.
And Dave was like, no, they're right. They're absolutely right. I'm like, Dave, America.
So right now, my
America's
wife is cringing.
He's got blue in there too.
My wife is upset, and she's on team whoever said that, because I won't get into politics, but I wore a particular red hat to the BYU game Saturday. And she was like, you must have another color version of that hat. You don't have to wear red.
It's like, well, Jimmer and I both wore royal blue jackets, blue jackets. Like Dave wore dark. The only thing was it was a red, white, and blue tie for election day. And I
felt you crossed the line.
And I took a lot of flack, and then Dave piled on.
You know, when you're watching this on YouTube, you don't sense the tension that is really in this room.
Yeah. I mean, he's my brother. I love him.
I'm just looking out for him.
But if I do something wrong, he is like a brother. He's like, dude, you can't do that.
You're going to catch all kinds of grief, and then I'm going to hear about it.
I'm going to hear about it. And I'm going to have to defend you, and I'm not defending you on this one.
Just find another tie.
Yeah. So,
all right, let's do it.
Okay, so here's your 5 questions. Okay. We'll start with the same first 4, and that is your favorite sports movie.
Oh, Remember the Titans.
Okay. That's our most popular.
Yeah, by the way. I mean, I'm sorry. I wish I had a better answer.
That one.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Your favorite singer or band?
Queen.
Ooh, we haven't had a lot of Queen, and I don't know why.
I don't either.
Because I think they're phenomenal.
You're not talking to enough kids from the 80s.
There you go.
We need more kids from the 80s.
Yeah, here we rule.
Classic rock.
AC/DC for
Classic
that guy.
rock from the 80s is awesome.
AC/DC is my go-to workout music.
Yeah, it has to be.
Queen is just when I want the nostalgia trip.
I love Queen. I like your favorite breakfast cereal.
So I used to invent my own as a kid. I would mix Lucky Charms and Fruit Loops, and I called it Lucky Loops.
Okay.
But they have recently invented a Fruit Loops with marshmallows, so I no longer have to mix. So Fruit Loops.
There's a Fruit Loops with marshmallows?
Yeah, there really is.
And I feel like I was ripped off because I felt like I invented that. But
I actually might have to try that.
I'll tell you what, a fresh box of Fruit Loops, that first bowl
come on.
There's nothing better.
And the milk that's left afterwards, are you kidding me?
It's like a fruit beverage.
I would drink it by the glass.
And we promote like sugar cereals on this show.
Kellogg should be one of our sponsors.
Yeah. And diabetes medicine.
Yeah.
That too. That's in 10 years.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll get there.
My mom used to say, you can't eat like that. You're going to get sugar diabetes. I'm like, Mom, I don't think that happens from eating like Fruit Loops. I don't think that happens.
I don't want to know if it does.
Okay, your favorite BYU memory.
And it sounds like it was 15 minutes with Lavelle.
It was.
So tell us about that.
Yeah.
So what was that like?
I was nervous as heck, and he was my last trip, right? I'd already been to OU, OSU, TCU, and then I flew out to Provo. And I don't know why, because the other ones, you just kind of know, like, they want me here, this is cool, they gave you stuff, you got to figure out where the boundaries were. But when they stood there, I had to stand outside the door and wait for another athlete to come out. And they're like, okay, when he comes out, you get in there. I'm like, all right. And they reminded me to be polite, show respect.
Yeah.
And I went in, my heart was pounding, and I could feel myself. I was like, don't sweat in front of him. And gave me a firm handshake, and it felt like I was talking to my dad or, a church leader. I mean, just continuous eye contact, continuous. I mean, I thought most of the coaches, they ask you something, they write something down. They ask you something, they write something down.
Right.
He just leaned back and just stared into my soul. And at one point, the thing that he said to me was, I'm going to guess, and I don't want to know, I'm going to guess you've been offered some stuff as you visited some of these other schools. I just want you to know we're not a stuff kind of place. And people who come here don't come here for stuff. They come here to be a part of what we are and who we are. And he just stared at me. I didn't know what to do. Like, do I just confess? Yes, I have been offered some stuff.
I have some stuff.
I have some stuff.
I took the stuff.
Yeah.
So what'd you say?
I said, that's why I'm here. And then he called in a senior player from the team, which is, I guess, part of the protocol. And then he took me and drove me around town and showed me Provo. And took.
Do you remember who that? You remember who it was?
I don't.
Do you remember meeting Blaine? Was Blaine nice? Did you meet any of the guys?
I would have been around that year, but
you would have been a kid, right?
Yeah, I was a kid. It was 84.
84.
I would have just played in the national championship game, or were we recruiting you the year before that?
You my junior year. So we finished the 83 season. We were state champs, and then the 84 spring, I was recruiting.
Yeah, so I was redshirt. I redshirted in 83. Mark Bellini and I went fishing every Friday because we didn't have to go to practice in 83.
Oh, good life.
So yeah, it was a great life.
And then in August, I broke my foot All scholarship offers went away. I ended up at Pittsburgh State. Played 1 season for Pittsburgh State.
Foch Fazio went to Pittsburgh State, who coached at the University of Pittsburgh.
Yeah. I mean, they were national players.
So the foot sent you elsewhere.
Sent me to Pittsburgh State with great sadness. And it was honestly, I mean, you know, you're 18 years old, but I was so emotionally distraught that I wasn't at BYU because I had already told my dad. Because my dad told me, he took me all my trips. He felt like I was less than respectful to TCU because it was a good Christian campus. And that's kind of what we wanted. I said, I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. I just know where I'm going.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like, yeah, but you got to keep your mind open. Anyway,
my guide was Roy Spivey.
Oh, yeah?
Guide? Is that what we called them?
Yeah, he was my guide. He was my senior guide that took me around.
Yeah.
But you get to meet everybody.
Senior guide. The other schools send you some young, attractive female and make it really weird and awkward.
This is truth. This is absolutely truth.
And it's super weird. So and they asked me, where do you want to go?
Do you know who my guide was at Pittsburgh, though? Oh. Danny Marino.
Oh, nice.
Really?
He was my guide at Pitt.
That's a heck of a guide.
Yeah. I like it. And he was really good back then, but he got really, really good.
Yeah, he did. I've heard of him.
All right, number 5.
Okay, number 5. This is one that's specific to you. And where's your favorite place to cruise?
Wow. My favorite place to cruise. I don't want to be a cruise snob.
No, you please do.
Honestly, I would say we've been on a lot, right? I mean, Europe's beautiful. I would say Alaska.
Alaska. It is amazing, isn't it?
Because I'm not interested in laying out on the beach and doing all the sun stuff. I want to see and experience, and I want to be in a different place.
To go into Glacier Bay and watch the calving of the glaciers. Is that like one of the most amazing things ever?
It's watching whales along the ship. It's seeing bear on the shore eating a salmon. It's getting off the boat and going into this mostly undisturbed area of the United States. It's still like it was in the beginning.
I'm with you. And we think we have mountains here, but in Anchorage, they're 14,000 feet, but they start at sea level.
Oh my gosh, they're amazing.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Alaska is one of the most beautiful places to cruise.
I would like our next BYU cruise to be to Alaska.
Let's do it. I'll go with you again.
Nice.
So.
All right, Troy Dunn, cruising with the Cougs. Let's fill up that ship. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you guys so much.
And thanks for sharing your experience from Saturday night. That put us right there. That was awesome.
Well, go Cougs.
Yeah. Let's get one this Saturday and get to 10-0. Yeah. Can you believe that? We 10-0.
I know, it's crazy.
We get Kansas.
And Troy, you still are you going to be on the concourse at the basketball game on Wednesday?
Yes.
So if you can go introduce yourself to Troy because you and I met when it was the exhibition game, so I wasn't doing the game, so I just went and watched it. So I came and talked to you.
And you know what? I've never seen you in real life. I've only seen you on video. And you walked up to me and we talked about it, and I probably offended you.
No, you didn't at all.
But I was like, so what do you do? And yeah, you're right. That's embarrassing.
So Troy has a spot there on the concourse where he has information on the cruise and all of that. So Dave and I are broadcasting the game Wednesday, the Queens game. And then, so you'll be there Wednesday night on concourse. And then we're also doing the basketball game Saturday, which is Idaho. And then we're going to go over and do the pre and post game show for the football over at the studio. So
it's a big week.
Will you be there on Saturday also on the concourse?
One of us will be.
So
I mean, what's happening now, because the ship is almost completely full, is the concourse was to tell people about the cruise. Now it's talking to people who are on the cruise and telling them how. Yeah, they're like, "Will we get to meet Kalani?" Yes, you will get to meet Kalani.
It's like meeting Santa Claus.
So you can get information with the links we sent you, but you also, if you're at the basketball games Wednesday or Saturday, somebody will be on the concourse. Walk around. You can ask questions. You can get information on how to sign up. Let's fill this ship up.
Let's go.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you. Good to meet you.
Thanks, Troy.
Good to have you here. Thank you for watching The Wise Guys.
If you like what you're watching, you can help us out by subscribing and hitting that notification button.